Not every woman needs a devoted second male lead to save her when she's been abandoned. When I heard Ethan say, "The thought of Ivy's hands being covered in blood makes me sick to my stomach," I knew he'd fallen for the new college intern at his company. I calmly handed him divorce papers, because my life had never revolved around him alone. Yet later, when he couldn't find me, Ethan would lose his mind. "I'm tired tonight. Not in the mood." Ethan pushed my hand away, turning his back to me. This was supposed to be our planned conception day during my ovulation window. But now he was rejecting me. Perhaps sensing his own cruelty, he turned back to embrace me, kissing my forehead. "Sleep now, darling." As his breathing steadied, I realized our marriage was crumbling. The next day, I left the hospital early to prepare a romantic candlelit dinner surprise. But before entering our home, I overheard Ethan's conversation with his best friend Ollie. "I used to adore Ivy. Couldn't get enough of her. Now." The mere thought of her blood-stained hands, Ethan's voice trailed off in disgust. "Just bored." "Huh?" Ollie's tone was flippant. Ethan didn't deny it. "Did you sleep with that assistant? Luna, right?" The prolonged silence spoke volumes. "Seriously? You're actually..." Ollie sounded alarmed. "Almost." Ethan's reply chilled me to the bone. "Watch yourself. We all saw how crazy you were about Ivy. Took bullets for her. Don't play with fire until you're begging in the ashes of your marriage." Ethan scoffed. "You think she'd throw away 10 years of her life?" His words froze me like daggered ice. Those repeated rejections weren't fatigue. He found me repulsive. He knew the value of a woman's prime decade, yet wielded it as a weapon against me. Luna's name rang familiar. She was the intern Ethan had raved about months ago, his eyes shining with admiration as he described how she'd begged on her knees after losing the job competition. He'd overruled better candidates out of pity. "I call that emotional blackmail," I'd argued. "Hiring shouldn't be based on sob stories. You've grown heartless from doctoring." He'd snapped. Our first real fight. He'd apologized later, but I never forgot that name. Now she was his personal secretary. Around that time, Ethan stopped sharing work stories. When someone stops confiding in you, they're confiding in someone else. All the signs had been there. That night, I went to bed early, feeling the mattress dip behind me. A man's icy hand snaked around my waist. Fighting back nausea, I grabbed Ethan's wrist as he tried to slip under my nightshirt. "I'm not feeling well," I said coldly. Ethan froze mid-motion. I could sense his frustration. Stopping now would be physically painful. Yet he ultimately pulled back, tucking me in tenderly before excusing himself to the bathroom. He took his phone, as had become his habit these past months. Moments later, my phone buzzed with a friend request. Luna's smiling profile picture appeared. Steadying my breath, I accepted. A screenshot of Ethan and Luna's chat materialized immediately, timestamped during his bathroom visit. Luna had sent hotel details with the message, "I don't need you to leave your wife. Just let me give my first time to the man I love. If you refuse, I'll find someone else. You'll regret this." Ethan's reply burned my eyes. On my way. The bathroom door clicked open. "Work emergency," Ethan announced, already grabbing his coat. He'd used this excuse countless times before. "Let me come," I insisted. His smile remained flawless as he patted my head. "Rest, honey. I'll be back before you know it." The door slammed behind him, tailgating his speeding Mercedes through downtown traffic. I nearly lost him twice. There she stood, Luna, waiting under the hotel awning. Their collision of lips and limbs could have won passion awards. I documented every second, from their frenzied embrace to their disappearance into the elevator. Parking in the shadows, I called Professor Ben. Dawnlight glinted off skyscrapers as he answered. "Still need researchers for the Antarctic project?" His delighted laughter crackled through the receiver. "For you? Always. 3 years ago, I'd turned down this career-making opportunity to play house with Ethan. Professor Lee never stopped sending research papers, conference invites, subtle reminders of what I'd sacrificed. Now, arranging my departure date, I felt no bitterness. The Ivy who'd chosen love wasn't wrong. The Ivy choosing ice cores and academic journals wasn't running away. Both were true to their time. Through the hotel windows, silhouettes moved behind drawn curtains. Let them have their stolen hours. My new countdown had begun 30 days until the last flight to Christchurch. Back home, I pulled out a bottle from the liquor cabinet and started downing glass after glass. One more month, and I could leave this all behind. My best friend Sophia texted, "How'd it go? Romantic candlelit dinner? Told you Ethan loves you so much. A little effort and you'd win him back." Everyone says Ethan loves me. I used to believe that too. Turns out a man can fake affection so convincingly it fools everyone. My gaze fell on the wedding band around my ring finger. I let out a bitter laugh. This was what Ethan had delivered takeout for 3 months to afford. Back when he and his friends were just starting their business. He'd worked days at the office and nights riding that damn electric scooter, surviving on less than 3 hours sleep. I still remember finding him in the ER after he dozed off and crashed, hands and knees shredded. His shirt soaked through with blood. When he saw me, he tried hiding his bandaged hand behind his back. "Why would you do this?" I choked out through tears. His calloused thumb wiped my cheeks as he mumbled, "Silly. I wanted to marry you faster. How could I risk losing someone so perfect?" We'd gotten rich later, but I never replaced this ring. Ethan kept promising a bigger diamond. But this cheap band meant more than any jewel. Now I twisted it off and dropped it on the dining table. The ghost of his nervous proposal still echoed in this room. But the man who'd vowed to never let me lose had become a stranger. At 2 a.m., his text lit up my phone. "Babe. Company crisis. Staying at the office with Ollie. Don't wait up." So Ollie was covering for him now. I left it on read, passing out drunk on the couch. My dream dragged me back to freshman orientation week. There he was, lanky computer science major with grass stains on his knees from where he tripped running to meet me. "You're really pretty," he'd blurted out, turning scarlet as our friends roasted him for months. He'd engineered accidental encounters across campus for a whole semester before I agreed to coffee. Through grad school proposals and startup chaos, he'd kept that earnest look. "Ivy," he'd whispered when slipping on this ring, voice cracking, "I'll make sure you never regret choosing me." The alarm blared at 7 a.m. My cheek stuck to the tear-salted pillow. Ethan's side of the bed remained untouched, cold as the diamond ring glittering on the table. I told myself this would be the last time I cried over him. After splashing water on my face in the restroom, I prepared for my hospital shift. Though I'd decided to resign, today's outpatient duties and medical reports couldn't wait. Adult life meant showing up even with a broken heart. During my coffee break, I consulted a lawyer friend about divorce proceedings. No dramatic confrontations needed. No knight in shining armor required to humiliate Ethan. My world never revolved solely around Ethan. After submitting my resignation letter that morning, I buried myself in work until he appeared at the cardiology department with Luna in tow. They rushed toward the very ward I was heading to. Luna's tear-streaked face pressed against Ethan's shoulder. Her mother lay pale against hospital sheets while Luna sobbed dramatically. "My only regret, Mrs. Brown wheezed, is leaving my precious girl alone." My eyebrow twitched. The latest test results showed manageable coronary blockage. Yet Luna wailed like we were planning hospice care. "Mommy, I have someone." She clutched Ethan's arm like a life preserver. Under Mrs. Brown's skeptical gaze, Ethan smoothly wrapped his arm around Luna's waist. "I'll take care of her, Mrs. Brown." When the frail woman demanded proof through a kiss, Ethan hesitated. Luna tugged his shirt pleadingly. Their lips met just as I entered. snapping a discreet photo for my divorce file. Ethan shoved Luna away upon seeing me, panic flashing across his face. Ivy? Both froze. Anticipating a scene, I simply extended the clipboard. Sign the consent forms for Bed 3's stent procedure. Luna's pen trembled as I explained. Routine surgery. 3-day recovery. Ethan finally noticed my name tag. Since when do you work here? Over a year. His throat bobbed silently. Luna's intake form revealed their shared address, the home I'd left 8 months prior. My wedding ring left a pale stripe on my finger as I initialed her paperwork. The address she provided was the first house Ethan and I lived in together after getting married. Ethan had purchased it under my name back then. He told me, "This place holds all our cherished memories. You'll forever be the sole owner of this home. No other woman can set foot here without your permission." Ethan seemed to sense my tension and tried to explain, but Luna cut him off. "I'm so sorry, Ivy. My landlord suddenly sold my apartment and kicked me out 2 months ago. Ethan only let me stay here because he couldn't bear seeing me homeless. Please don't be mad at him, it's all my fault." I studied Luna's artfully pitiful expression. Youthful vulnerability did have its advantages. "How long have you been here?" She blinked, unprepared for my calmness. 2 months. Excellent. You're aware this property is solely under my name. MS. Brown. The current market rate is $8,000 monthly. I'll expect backdated payments within 48 hours. I turned to Ethan. "I'm listing the house soon. Make sure she's out by Friday." Luna's tearful gaze shifted to Ethan, but he kept staring at me. "Of course. If you can't afford it," I added, "feel free to ask your sugar daddy to cover it. I only care about receiving payment, not where it comes from." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Is this really necessary, Ivy?" "Not particularly. Which is why we should discuss divorce proceedings at your earliest convenience." Delighted shock flashed across Luna's face. Ethan's expression darkened. "You're overreacting. I just helped her move in. We only kissed once. Does that mean I can kiss random men to help them too?" "You wouldn't dare." I smirked. "Seems last night's hotel rendezvous didn't satisfy you. Don't worry, I'm moving out today. You two can play house properly." His face paled. "You knew? My lawyer will send divorce papers this week." As I turned to leave, Ethan grabbed my bare left hand. "You're serious? Where's your wedding ring?" I yanked free. "We have nothing left to discuss except divorce proceedings." His furious shout followed me down the hospital corridor. "You'll regret this, Ivy. Plenty of women would kill to be Mrs. Smith." I almost laughed. The audacity of this cheating bastard acting offended. Where did he get the nerve? That evening, colleagues threw me a farewell party at a karaoke bar. While returning from the restroom, I spotted Ethan in the adjacent VIP lounge with his friends. "Think she'll actually go through with the divorce?" one asked. "My wife pulled this stunt last year. Just ignore her, they always come crawling back after the 30-day cooling period." Another snorted. "Not everyone's as pathetic as your gold digger. These modern women won't stick around for disrespect. They'll take half your assets and find younger models." Ethan's drink slammed on the table. "Enough. Ivy's different. Wake up, man. They're all the same. My wife's probably banging her personal trainer right now. Yours is just smarter about hiding it." The conversation shifted as I walked past unnoticed. Let them speculate. Soon, the only thing Ethan would inherit from our marriage was the bitter taste of consequences. Ethan Smith had been drinking with a stormy expression. As others surreptitiously watched his mood, he suddenly declared, "After all these years, it's time she learned her lesson." The private room's atmosphere reignited at his words. "Mrs. Smith? What brings you here? Looking for Ethan?" someone called out. Before I could react, Ollie pushed me into the VIP lounge. Ethan's features softened instantly when he saw me, his white-knuckled grip on the whiskey glass easing though he stubbornly avoided eye contact. I then noticed every other man had female companions except him. Ollie hastily explained. "Don't misunderstand, Mrs. Smith. These girls are with us, nothing to do with Ethan." He gestured at the vacant seat beside Ethan, now conspicuously cleared of the earlier discarded jacket. When Ollie began ushering the women out, I protested. "There's no need. I came with co-workers and should leave. Besides," my fingers tightened around my purse strap, "Ethan and I are finalizing our divorce. This doesn't concern me anymore. Enough games." Ivy. Ethan's glass slammed down, amber liquid sloshing. "You've crossed the line with this ridiculous charade." I met his glare unflinchingly. "Remember your drunken mistake at Neon Nights karaoke? When you nearly kissed that stranger thinking she was me?" His jaw muscle twitched. "I meant every word that night. I won't keep what's been tainted." The shattering of crystal against marble followed me to the exit. "You want divorce papers?" Ethan's voice cracked like the broken shards. "You'll have them tomorrow at City Hall." Perfect. That night, I packed my belongings at Ethan's penthouse while texting Sophia about renting her guest suite. My suitcase wheels had just clicked across the foyer tiles when Luna appeared, half supporting an intoxicated Ethan. Our eyes met over his slumped form. Luna's triumphant smirk deepened as Ethan pulled her against him, murmuring "honey, stay," against her neck despite her token protests. I left without watching the rest. The next morning's paperwork went smoothly. Equal asset division. No arguments. As we exited the courthouse, Ethan's laugh held no warmth. Disappointed I didn't beg this time. "Ivy? Even saints have limits." I simply smiled at the divorce decree. 30 days until permanent freedom. "I'll relocate Luna this week," Ethan said abruptly. "Her rent reimbursement will be wired today." "Fine. I've cleared my things, discard whatever remains." I turned to leave. His voice halted me. "I didn't ask her to pick me up last night." The elevator doors closed on my non-reply. I was drunk when she called, and the waiter overheard. So they brought her over. "Ethan, you don't need to explain anything to me. It's your personal business." Ethan's face darkened further. The next day, I boarded a flight to Shanghai. Professor Ben had a 5-day academic forum there but couldn't attend himself. So he sent me instead. Needing a distraction, I agreed. Those 5 days were packed with learning and networking with industry leaders. So consumed by purpose, I didn't think of Ethan once. See? Love isn't everything. Life has far more meaningful pursuits. The day after returning, I resumed hospital shifts. After work, I spotted Ethan leaning against a black Maybach, cigarette in hand, clothes disheveled and face haggard. A male colleague whispered, "He's been waiting here for days. Asked security about you, kept coming back when they said you were off." He offered to stay, but I declined. As we parted, Ethan strode toward me. Up close. His bloodshot eyes and stubble shocked me. The man who'd once been fastidious now looked wrecked. Dr. Ivy's moving on fast. Huh? His voice dripped venom. Wonder how your next target will react when they learn about your decade-long ex-husband? 10 years might feel eternal to you, Ethan. But to me, it's nothing. My indifference cracked his composure. Did you think disappearing would make me chase you? Sorry to disappoint, I didn't call once. Didn't even ask your friends where you were. Then why are you here? He faltered, scrambling for justification. You changed the locks. I can't get in. He meant the apartment Luna had stayed in. Yes. I'm selling it. The realtor will show it soon. Collect your things then if you must. At must. His eyes reddened, that wounded look that used to melt my anger. But the Ethan who'd once cherished me was gone. Just as I'd outgrown the Ivy who blindly trusted him. His tears could flow for me or any other woman now. Turning to leave, he blurted, "We need to reschedule the divorce finalization." "I'm busy." Seeing my composure slip, he smirked. "Don't joke about this." I warned. "Be at City Hall on time." "I won't wait after the divorce. I'm leaving the country. Don't force me to file a lawsuit." His smile died. "You're that eager? Isn't this what you wanted? To be with Luna openly?" He didn't deny it. "We'll see." My schedule's unpredictable. Reveling in my anger, he drove off. That night, I brought wine to Sophia's apartment. "Ethan's a bastard." She slammed her glass down. If I'd known who he really was, I'd never have helped him propose. I refilled our wine glasses and shook my head with a smile. Who can predict the future? Even the most passionate love eventually comes down to basic decency in the end. I'm just grateful I realized things before it was too late. "Did you know?" Sophia leaned in, her tone tinged with dark amusement. "Ethan didn't set foot in the office for 5 days after you disappeared. Handed everything over to Ollie. Camped outside the hospital entrance every day waiting for you. 5 days missing drove him crazy. Imagine if you actually left the country?" I shrugged. "What Ethan does isn't my concern anymore. All I care about is assisting Professor Ben with his research overseas and making sure Ethan doesn't stand me up at the courthouse." Sophia clinked her glass against mine. "To our career-driven Ivy. Love this energy." The next morning brought good news from my realtor, a cash buyer offering full price without negotiation. I finalized the paperwork immediately. In the following weeks, I juggled hospital transitions with visa applications. Ethan's sporadic calls about missing ties or dress shirts went unanswered. Only the pending divorce papers kept him unblocked. Ollie later cornered me at the coffee shop. "Luna's been fired," he said, watching my reaction. "Ethan got into a bar fight last night. He's not handling things well. Take him to urgent care then." I replied coldly, stirring my latte. Infidelity isn't about the other woman. The cheater's the real problem, and I'm done playing the bitter ex. The night before our court date found me packing when Ethan stormed in reeking of whiskey. Eyes bloodshot. "You told my father?" he growled, slamming his fist against the wall. He collapsed from the stress. If Luna hadn't found him, I froze. "I'm a cardiologist. Ethan, do you think I'd risk a patient's life?" My voice stayed clinical despite my pounding heart. His bitter laugh echoed. "You wanted divorce papers? Fine. I'll be there tomorrow." At the courthouse, sunlight streamed through stained glass as we signed the documents. The weight lifting from my shoulders almost made me giddy. Ethan's storm cloud expression darkened with each pen stroke. Walking out into the autumn breeze, I breathed deeply. Behind me, I heard the sharp crack of dress shoes stopping on marble steps. But I didn't turn back. The stone that had crushed my chest for years was finally gone. He opened his mouth to speak but was interrupted by his ringing phone. Luna's anxious voice came through the line. Apparently, something had happened with Mr. Smith. Ethan hung up and strode away, pausing to glance at me before getting into his car with a complicated expression. "Ivy, you need to reflect on yourself recently. We'll discuss our situation later." The divorce papers were already signed. What more was there to say? Watching his car disappear, I murmured, "Goodbye forever, Ethan." That afternoon, I packed my bags and boarded a flight to Germany. To Ethan, I'd always been the temperamental one. He never understood me. When I make decisions, I never look back. My first act in Germany was replacing my SIM card, cutting ties with everyone except family and close friends. I threw myself into Professor Ben's research until 2 years later, when our team prepared to return home with groundbreaking results. Sophia called before my departure. "There's something I never told you. 6 months after you left, Ethan came looking for me." "So?" I replied indifferently. That bastard knelt in our corporate lobby begging for your whereabouts. I called security immediately. My eyebrow arched. That's insane? Hearing about Ethan now felt like listening to a stranger's gossip. Exactly. Sophia huffed. Cheating bastard wants redemption? Too late. Though I'm surprised you never dated anyone else. They say the best way to get over someone. I laughed. You can't outsource healing. Ethan taught me men's loyalty is worthless. No one saves you but yourself. Starting new relationships to forget old pain? That's unfair to everyone involved. I knew I'd eventually encounter Ethan, but didn't expect him at my first industry gala. There he stood across the room, eyes bloodshot and trembling. When I tried to ignore him, he dragged me to the garden. Ivy, I'm sorry, so sorry, he choked through endless apologies, attempting to embrace me. I shoved him away, finally dashing red wine across his face. Sober now? Need the police to escort you? Wiping his face, Ethan looked devastated. I know everything. Luna did the texts. My father's situation. I exiled her from the city. You'll never see her again. None of that matters anymore. My voice stayed flat. Without love, there's no pain. Tears streamed down his face. Come back to me, Ivy. I've never stopped loving you. Coldly, I stated. We're divorced. Ethan. No. He frantically revealed a necklace bearing our wedding ring, the same one I'd left on the dining table years ago. My eyes dropped to the band still on his finger. Honestly? It made me sick. Ivy. We ended things 2 years ago. I hope you'll stop clinging to the past. Don't make me lose respect for you. My words had zero effect on Ethan. Since discovering my whereabouts, he'd become a persistent presence in my life under the guise of winning me back. Just like I pursued you in college. I can do it again. Ivy. This time I won't let you go, he declared during one of his unwelcome appearances. I snapped. Do you really think I'd fall into the same trap twice? The first time, I could claim youthful naivety. Falling again would make me a fool. Yet no matter how harshly I spoke, Ethan refused to back down. With our medical team's temporary assignment in the States lasting only months, I focused on work while treating Ethan like thin air. When Professor Benjamin Lee took on a complex cardiac case requiring my surgical assistance, the 7-hour marathon surgery stretched from dawn till midnight. Emerging exhausted from the OR, we barely had time to brief the family before chaos erupted. A disgruntled relative charged toward our group with a knife, shoving Professor Ben to safety. I pivoted to disarm the attacker with a roundhouse kick perfected during 2 years of stateside martial arts training. Strong arms suddenly locked around me. Ethan? Let go. The blade sank into his back before I could break free. When Ethan regained consciousness the next afternoon, he tried smiling through pale lips. Don't worry, Ivy. I'm fine. You idiot. I hissed, pacing his hospital room. That guy was half my weight class. If you hadn't interfered, I'd have taken him down in 3 moves. These past years weren't just lab time. I trained to handle exactly this kind of situation. His expression crumpled. I just couldn't risk you getting hurt. Save it. And don't think this changes anything. I crossed my arms. From the moment you called me disgusting, we were done. Even if you claim nothing happened with Luna that night. I stopped. He blurted, fingers whitening on the bedsheet. At the hotel, when it came down to it, I thought of you. Couldn't go through with it. A bitter laugh escaped him. I was too proud to explain then. Wanted you to apologize first. Just once. He fumbled a key from his wallet. Bought back our old condo after you sold it. Lived there these 2 years. Surrounded by everything that reminds me of you. Tears tracked down his face as I stifled a scoff. You think emotional affairs don't count as cheating? I saw you holding her. Ethan. Kissing her. Your last-minute nobility makes me sick. Not sentimental. When he grabbed my sleeve as I turned to leave. His broken "is there really no chance?" met my icy stare. Let's part with dignity, I said, shaking free. Don't make me regret ever loving you. The door clicked shut behind me, echoing finality. Behind me was the sound of a man's uncontrollable sobbing. In the following days, I didn't visit Ethan at the hospital again. He had plenty of people around him, my care wasn't needed. Soon, I left the country again. On the plane, Ben discussed upcoming plans. A few young researchers were sulking, complaining they'd aged 10 years in one and were going bald. They got sternly scolded by Ben. I chuckled along with the others, turning to gaze at the distant horizon. The road ahead wouldn't confine me to present limitations. What I yearned for was the boundless freedom of open skies. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more exciting stories. And drop your thoughts on this one in the comments. See you next time.